don't know. The ball handling sucks. The defense sucks. The consistency is terrible. Brad Wanamaker's still getting playing time. Actually, that's the first thing I want to talk about. Brad Wanamaker. Dwayne Washington Jr., two-way player, rookie, undrafted, goes in there for the same amount of time as Brad Wanamaker, gets 2 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, and causes a turnover while only turning over the ball himself one time with a plus-minus of 1. Brad Wanamaker had as many turnovers as points. And those 2 points that he did score were off of free throws. I think he had 1 rebound with a plus-minus of -14. Cut Brad Wanamaker and sign Dwayne Washington Jr. to a full-time contract. When this dude comes in garbage time for a few minutes, he puts up good points. When he comes in for a few minutes in a game where it actually matters, he puts up points. And maybe while the stats don't look very good, if you actually watched him play tonight, you know that he actually had a pretty good game. And if you studied his film at Ohio State, you know that he's a pretty good player. Like, I really honestly think you cut Brad Wanamaker and you sign Dwayne Washington Jr. to a full-time contract. I would much rather be seeing Dwayne Washington Jr. getting Brad Wanamaker's minutes. And Brad Wanamaker, he's just made so many mistakes. He's had multiple games where he's had as many turnovers or more turnovers than he has points or assists. Sometimes points and assists combined, he'll have more turnovers or the same amount of turnovers as. Like, this guy is the least efficient point guard. He's a point guard who can't ball handle, who can't score, who can't play defense. What is the point of this guy being on your roster? This guy's supposed to be Edmund Sumner's replacement. I would much rather be seeing Keelan Martin and Dwayne Washington Jr. getting Brad Wanamaker's minutes off the bench. Because you watch those guys play, and while sometimes they have their flaws here and there, it isn't such a big flaw that they just cause the whole team around them to become worse, like Brad Wanamaker. It's atrocious watching him play basketball. It makes me want to just not exist anymore. It is terrible. Another thing, make LeVert the primary ball handler even after Malcolm Brogdon comes back. LeVert's ball handling and his ability to play make complements the too big lineup obviously better than Brad Wanamaker, but better than Malcolm Brogdon. Move Malcolm Brogdon to the shooting guard, maybe sometimes have him bring it up the court, but mainly have LeVert bring it up the court and try and play make for other guys. He had 9 assists tonight, along with 27 points and 5 rebounds and a steal and a block. He's had in the game before this and the game before that, he's had like 7 or 8 assists. Usually when he is the primary ball handler, he gets close to 10 assists, and he play makes better for the too big lineup than what Malcolm Brogdon does. So make LeVert the primary ball handler from now on, because it works way better. LeVert seems to score more even when passing the ball more. He just gets into the rhythm more. He's the type of player where he needs to be the floor general in order to have a good game. I think that is partially why he was struggling at the beginning of the year, was because he wasn't having the kind of control that he wanted to on the game. And once he feels like he's in control, he's one of those players that when he feels like he can control the game, he plays much better in all facets of the game. You have guys like that everywhere. So really, give Caris LeVert the ball, please. Give Caris LeVert the ball. Miles Turner almost had a 20-point game on not that many shots. He mainly had to create for himself for the most part. And he still almost had 20 points, and he had a few blocks here and there. Domas had a decent game. He had 17 rebounds and 14 points. Had a terrible second half. But his first half was decent. I'm really cut Brad Wanamaker, sign Dwayne Washington Jr. full time, Trade Domantas Sabonis for James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. I just make those 3 moves, and I feel like it'll already improve this team a decent amount. Because I like Domas, but he just it's like Jeremy Lamb at this point. He just so clearly doesn't fit the team, and he doesn't fit the system. And you can tell that he's not a Rick Carlisle type of big, you know. Miles Turner is more of Rick's type of big. He's a big who can stretch the floor, shoot threes, score inside. He's a bit crafty, and he's a good defender, and he's gritty, and he's tough. So I feel like, even though I love Domas, the way he plays the game is very elegant. It's a very good way. And he's like a bootleg Nikola Jokic, but he doesn't fit the team. Trade him somewhere where he fits. Trade him to Golden State. He fits in Golden State, and we can get a good return for Domas from Golden State with 2 really good young players in James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. You can even package Jeremy Lamb in that trade, and then you open up cap space, and you get rid of Jeremy Lamb, and you get rid of Domas, and it improves your team so much. I don't understand. Why don't we make this trade? It makes sense for both sides. I don't. Oh my goodness. I don't understand. I don't. It's just the fit. Nobody seems to fit in this team. Duarte had a good game. Justin Holiday had a decent game. Torrey Craig and O'Shea Brissett played very well. Those guys complement each other nicely. Keelan Martin was decent. You have pieces on this team that if you keep certain guys that fit Rick's system more, I think you could put together a winning team. Guys who I don't think fit this system: Jeremy Lamb, Domas, Malcolm Brogdon, not really. LeVert, it depends on the day. If he's the primary ball handler, then he looks more like Rick Carlisle's type of guy. I think Torrey Craig and O'Shea stay. I think Dwayne would stay. I think Keelan definitely stays. Rick really likes Keelan Martin. Isaiah Jackson would definitely stay. Goga might. Justin might get traded, but he might stay just because he's a good locker room guy, and he can go for like 20 points at any moment. So I just feel like you need to get rid of certain pieces. Don't get rid of pieces that you don't need to get rid of. Don't like trade Miles Turner just for a trade's sake, because Miles Turner fits this team. I think you have a potential next Reggie Miller in Chris Duarte with his confidence and his grittiness on defense and his clutchness. His efficiency needs work, but it's like a young Reggie Miller. Younger Reggie Miller wasn't as efficient. He wasn't dropping 20 on a nightly basis, but he still had confidence. He was still coming in clutch. He was a good defender. So he shares a lot of qualities with a young Reggie Miller. And I think if you bring him along nicely, you might have the next Reggie Miller. And he's probably just as loyal as Reggie Miller, because you're the team that took a chance on him when nobody else would. So you have a lot of benefits with Chris Duarte, so I think we need to hold on to him for his whole career. See you guys next time. As always, I'm not funny, and at this point, I'm just kind of indifferent to if the Pacers win or lose. If they lose, good. We get Jaden Ivey in the draft. If we win, whatever. We'll lose the next game anyway, so it doesn't really matter. A win just kind of boosts your confidence a little bit. It gives you a nice little uplifting feeling in your gut. I don't know. I'll see you guys next time.
Just got unlucky on a few plays tonight. You know, one of those plays, I thought he was standing still, but he just hit the shit out of that one guy, and the guy went flying. They blew the whistle, and they called it on him.